Super Rugby Pacific, Melbourne, Super Round. Stick around, I'll share my thoughts on the movers and shakers on day 3. Hey everyone, it's Coach H here, and you've found Inspired by Union, a channel where I discuss Southern Hemisphere rugby. Let's dive right in. Well, 2 Trans-Tasman crossover games for Super Round in Melbourne. A blowout I did not see coming, and an absolute thriller going into Golden Point. The Chiefs versus the Brumbies. Pre-game, all the talk was on these two sides' last meeting in 2023 in the semi-final stage and how close this encounter was going to be. In fact, I picked that these teams would draw on Thursday. Well, the Chiefs, they didn't get that script. With D-Mac pulling the strings behind an aggressive and relentless pack, the Chiefs went on their merry way and put the Brumbies to the sword. In what was a one-sided affair, a composed and aggressive defensive line made the Australians work for every yard that they made, added pressure and forced errors. Sami Finau was huge on both sides of the ball, an absolute weapon in the contact area and effective at the front of the line out. The Chiefs piled on the points to comfortably win this encounter, 46 points to 12. The Hurricanes and Reds then produced a fine game that had all sorts of drama. A red card to Super Rugby Centurion Geordie Barrett after a sloppy tackle meant that his team had to up the ante and really dig in for a 20-minute period. The Hurricanes were well served by a youthful loose forward trio, and Brandon Uwase came of age in a powerful performance at number 8. The Reds, so disappointing against Kiwi opposition these past few seasons, seem to have turned a corner and were really productive and really clean with their work on Sunday. For all the improvement of the Reds, I'm sure this week they'll rue the fact that perhaps they didn't get their game management right when they had a 15 to 14 man advantage for 20 minutes. After being all tied at 33 all, it was the Hurricanes that scored a Golden Point try to take this encounter 38 to 33. Day 3's MVP award goes to Ruben Love. This young fullback was fantastic in attack and sublime in defence, working with his outside backs. A real threat and a real presence when injecting himself into the line. Love, 2 tries for added measure, was fantastic and adds to the depth in the stockpile of talented young 15s currently plying their trade in the New Zealand Super Rugby teams. My Betty Crocker for biggest shocker perhaps goes to the Super Rugby organisers themselves. Melbourne surely has hosted its last Super Round with 6 quality games played in front of a sparse crowd where these games deserved more fans in the stand. Does Super Rugby look north to the Gold Coast, where you'd guarantee with the large New Zealand expat community, the Kiwi super sides would be well supported over the weekend? Or do commercial interests mean that Super Round is taken to the north, perhaps to Japan, where they build some money and key funds offshore? If you're finding these insights helpful, please feel free to subscribe, hit that bell so that you get insights every week. So day 3 of Super Round, all in all, the 12 teams all played positive rugby, whether their shortcomings or their error rates meant that games weren't always clean. They were all positive in their intent. Today's action, a clinical display by a ruthless Chiefs side, and then an absolute thriller. 2 teams that rolled up their sleeves and got to work, and the Canes and the Reds. And the Reds, so unlucky, heartbroken as the Canes persevered in extra time. I'm Coach H, and you've been watching Inspired by Union.